This past weekend, we had another movie, the 55th, I do believe, entry into the Billionaires Club crack through in the form of Deadpool and Wolverine, holding on tremendously, man, like also gaining more theaters. Like the more they put this film to screen, the more money it ends up making. Could it end up eclipsing Inside Out 2? Who knows? I heard a couple of goofy things when it came to its streaming rights, so it could be heading to Disney Plus after 45 days, which would be so stupid because, as you can see, like, let's just pull this back up again. Like, it started out in 4,200 theaters, and then it picked up their 20 screens the next weekend, and now it's picked up another 100 cinemas this past weekend. So yeah, and it is still pulling in huge numbers, winning this past weekend, the 9th through the 11th. If I don't know, man, do you think Alien Romulus is going to end up biting into this too much? I kind of doubt it, because when it comes to anticipation for a film, at best I see lukewarm anticipation for it, maybe a little bit. People hoping that, yeah, okay, it's probably not going to be better than Alien. It's definitely not going to be better than Aliens. Could it be the best? Could it be the third best in the franchise? And to be completely honest, though, okay, not exactly a high bar to clear, so I don't know how well it's tracking. But outside of that, when it comes to stiff competition, the only thing else that's really surprising, like, I don't know much about this It Ends With Us thing, but making $50 million over the weekend, but Twisters, of all things, still hanging on and having incredible legs. Good for it, man. Good for it. But I guess when it comes to standard box office fare, like just regular, it's the weekend, it's the summer, let's go to the theater, what's playing, Twisters, Deadpool, and Wolverine. I guess you could go to Twisters because I think it's only PG-13. Something like that. You could take your family out to do that, and it'd be something that everybody could enjoy, because outside of the critiques that I've heard of Deadpool and Wolverine, like Twisters, I've heard that it's not exactly the smartest film, but it's also not preachy. It's a decent film. Despicable Me 4, Inside Out 2, haven't heard much about, but yeah, Despicable Me 4, it's already made $800 million. It could also be an addition to the Billionaires Club by the end of the year. Absolutely wild to think about. That was about the only one that I had earmarked as there's a good chance. There's a good possibility, okay? That if anybody's going to be throwing around money at that, especially the family market. And when it comes to Illumination, haven't really made any enemies on either side of the ideological fence. So yeah, it's probably going to make some money. So could it be the 56th entry into the Billionaires Club? Potentially. You know what film won't be? Borderlands. Its opening weekend, $8.6 million. That's for the weekend. That's for the week. Like, let's just break this down, okay? $3 million. Oh my God, $4 million with previews. $2 million on Saturday. Not even breaking $2 million on Sunday. It is DOA, dead in the water, mostly because, yeah, this is one of those situations where the critics caused this because they were the ones review bombing the film. Like, you guys didn't even give it a chance. Like, look at that discrepancy. 9% from all your trusted reviewers that are out there. Still, it's 0% for the top critics, okay? But when it came to all audience, right, 38%, that's incredible. But 51% from a verified audience. Where's all the reports that this film is getting review bombed? Oh my God, the critics can't handle a strong, empowered 55-year-old woman trying to masquerade and pretend that she's 30 years her junior. Like, why aren't all those papers being written? No, because this film is just absolutely horrifically awful. Because nobody has good things to say about this. People that are familiar with Borderlands source material, fans of the games, or even just general moviegoers, everybody hates this. Like, this is one of those incredible situations where it's not like a Madam Web type situation where at least that one was so bad it was hilarious. This is just bad. Like, not funny, not thought out well, no good performances, nothing. This is just a bottom of the barrel, hell, under the bottom of the barrel tripe. It is going to end up costing a hell of a lot of money. The Borderlands movie squeaks in $8.8 million over its U.S. box office weekend, which is about 6% of what it cost to market, distribute, and make. I want to get into the financials on this because I love to dig into the money side of these, okay? Crunching the numbers on these disasters, especially just the litany of examples we had earlier this year and then all across 2023. I was reveling like, well, I was going to say a pig in shit, but a pig in this Borderlands movie I think is pretty apt. But As a critic, it is my job to generally treat all things with grace. Who's this pansy? Harvey Randall. Harvey Randall. Okay. But I feel pretty confident saying that the Borderlands movie, which launched to shocking reviews, was not well done. I trust my opinion of my fellow PC gamer writer Joshua Woolens, who, having sat down and watching the whole thing, dubbed it tasteless mush that no one involved seemed interested in saving, and an excuse to buy a popcorn bucket. That's tough. The critical reception appears to have manifested at the U.S. box office via Variety, reporting that Borderlands, the movie, raked in $8.8 million in its opening weekend in the States, and a movie that cost $115 million to make. So that was the budget of this. Oh my God. Theoretically, you could have stemmed some of your losses if you didn't want to cast Cate Blanchett and Jamie Lee Curtis, Jack Black, Kevin Hart. If you could have got a little bit more reasonable and maybe a little bit more appropriate of a cast, you could have created a better film, something that was at least tickling the fancy of Borderlands fans, where at least it looks accurate to the games, or just B, mitigated your losses. Either or, you would have been fine. Adding those costs together, that means that Borderlands, $30 million to market and distribute. Yeah, I would say the marketing budget's probably a little higher than $30 million. Normally, rule of thumb is 2 to 3 times the budget for break even. So this film would have had to make $230 million, but let's be completely honest, it'll be lucky to make $30 million. So yes, adding those costs together means that Borderlands' US performance over the weekend, well, don't we have everything in totality? Okay, can we just pull that up here right quick and see what the hell is going on? Yeah, it made $700,000 international. That's incredible. I don't know how many markets it opened to, and frankly, I'll be paying attention to it. Don't know if we'll be talking about it again, but this ain't good. Okay, granted, there are international releases to come. Forbes reports 60% of its production budget has already been covered by pre-sales, which leaves just approximately $58 million. Yeah. I mean, it's bad. It's real bad, but this is coming from the perspective of somebody who apparently likes the game, sank 58 hours into Borderlands 3. I'm sorry to hear about that, but it's also not Warner Brothers, biggest loss. Did they put this stuff on? No, it's Lionsgate. It's not going to be the biggest video game related adaptation bomb, okay? That mantle is still going to reside within, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, where, anywhere between 1 and 200 people are playing a game that dropped in February. So we can't really anticipate a sequel or any more DLC, and especially where do you go after Mrs. Freeze? When it comes to the Borderlands franchise, it's been, since 2019 when 3 came out? Like who, after seeing that film, is going, yeah, you know what, I could really go with more Borderlands right now. Maybe the fans are like, we could go for some authentic Borderlands, but why would you want a continuation of one of your favorite franchises in 2024, especially coming from a Western gaming developer? It's like, be careful what you wish for. And especially, all the cheeky stuff that made Borderlands a big franchise back in the late 2000s, early 2010s. You're not going to be getting that again. No. You guys are going to be getting the game that everybody else thinks that Borderlands is, just a cringe, outdated looter shooter. Borderlands CEO was posting through the film's $100 million flop with another Borderlands 4 hint teasing we're working extra hard for you on what's next. Get it? Even though it'll be the 5th game in the franchise, but don't worry about that. When you purchase through links, whatever. No need to read the disclaimer, but at least I'm happy the Games Radar is upfront with the fact that they're hacks. The Borderlands movie hasn't gone down well, but Gearbox CEO Randy Pitchford, is trying to shift fans' focus on the team's next project, which he's strongly hinting is Borderlands 4. First reaction to the Borderlands movie was hardly positive, debuting with 0% and is now still at 0% at top critics. Pitchford, who co-founded Borderlands studio Gearbox, says he's super flattered that the fans prefer the games to the movie. So what you're saying is, you like what my friends and I do with our Borderlands video game even more than you like what some of our biggest and best cast and crew of our filmmakers on the planet have done. Sure, I'm super flattered. We're working extra hard for you on what's next. Obviously, everyone was quick to pick up on the not-so-subtle hint, although it's not too surprising hearing that in the first place. You go back to March when it was revealed in the press release by Take-Two Interactive, which recently acquired Gearbox for $460 million. Let's under Take-Two. I guess that's a little bit more hope that it might not be woke, just cringe, standard Borderlands cringe. The next installment in the series that is already in active development. Even so, can't imagine it's that far that for anyone involved in Borderlands movie is thrilled at the reaction so far, especially considering they reportedly had a budget of over $100 million. Yeah, meaning that it's set up for quite a substantial loss, mostly because guess what? The movie didn't pay close attention to the source material. Okay, I gave credit to Cate Blanchett, who apparently grabbed up a couple of Borderlands games and tried to get familiar with her character, and if she was actually getting familiar with her character, she would have to reconcile the fact that, yeah, the face that she sees in the mirror every day is not exactly indicative of somebody who is apt to play Lilith, who is supposed to be the goddamn siren class, not the ambulance siren class, because her blood pressure spiked too high. I mean, I love Cate Blanchett. She's a gem in the industry, but horrifyingly ill cast. It's a movie that's putting video game adaptations, I don't know, it's setting them back so far, because what else have we had in recent history? The Halo TV series, thankfully, that one got put out to pasture. You have Last of Us Season 2 on the horizon, which is supposed to be adapting The Last of Us Part 2. Good luck with that one. Either you're going to be unfaithful to the source material to make your show more palatable, or you're going to be sticking to the source and nobody's going to be happy with that. Who knows? Super Mario Brothers movie. The Sonic movies were good. I think 3 is still coming out this year, right? Didn't hear anything about that Knuckles TV show after it launched. You have hits, you have misses, but all in all, the landscape when it comes to video game adaptations, I don't know, man. Most fans are just hoping that you don't make anything in current year, especially when it comes to Yakuza fans who have had their franchise. They've had their franchise kept out of the spotlight for a long enough time, okay? It was one of those games that had a cult fan base that only until recent iterations really stepped it up again. I've heard that they've had a very high quality game for a very long time. I'm pretty intrigued from what I hear, but I've still never played a Yakuza game. I've been familiar with the franchise since its inception back on the PS2, and I had no idea they had an Amazon Prime show on the horizon, and thankfully, I'm not a fan of the games. Not because I don't like them, it's just because I have no awareness of them. I just, kind of feel bad for the fans of the games that are out there, especially when you hear stuff like a Dragon Yakuza actor reveals Prime Video banned him and others from playing the game, so this show could explore characters from scratch. Last time we heard something like that, we heard that from the Halo show. Yeah, it's not good. That's really not good at all. You're adapting something that has a dearth of source material, and you're told to turn a blind eye to it. This is telling me that this show, it's going to end up suffering the exact same fate as the previously mentioned Halo series, and could potentially be just as catastrophic to the franchise as the Borderlands movie. I hope not. I hope that you have competent people in charge, but this is Amazon after all. These are the same people that took the rich lore of Tolkien and shat out Rings of Power, which we're going to be inundated with in the next couple of weeks of Season 2, so strap in, or in the Rings of Power case, strap on. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.